Welcome back to Straight Facts on Friday. I'm joined by my main man, Staffy. We've got Don in the house with us too. Lots to go through today. Mbeumo's medicals booked. Onto the striker next for Manchester United, but who will it be? Will it quench Staffy's first? We're going to be going through that on the show today. Plus, we're looking at Liverpool Ekitike, very close to a total agreement according to sources. Eze to Arsenal is set to advance as well, according to Ben Jacob. Plus, we're going to be talking Chelsea and getting Don's view, not just on being world champions, but what does it mean for next season? What are the expectations? Before we go any further, I'm going to introduce the gentleman. Let them say hello, how they're doing. But sorry we're late. Staffy was actually meant to be 15 minutes late because he had a work call, but we are 21 minutes late because Don, just like every week, nothing was working. Mic, earphones, laptop, internet. So that's why we're late. We apologize for Don's setup, but man's got to fix up. He's a rich recruiter, balling, bare money. I've seen these clothes. He spends £150 on a pair of jeans, £500 on a pair of trainers, and about £3.50 on his streaming setup. So, but how are we both? We're both good. We're both well.
Yeah,
I'm good, man. I'm good. Got a great day. I woke up to the news, and I felt such alienated to it. I was like, I can't remember the last time I woke up happy to United news. I was like, wait, am I tripping? Am I seeing this right? And then I was like, yeah, I am seeing it right. So went back to bed again though, because it was super early, but happy that we finally got a deal over the line. Took us quite a while. Took us a bit of a long time to get here. I will not let that kill my enjoyment though. So for someone that is always looked at as very negative and toxic, I'm going to pretend that those 7 weeks didn't happen, even though it will be tough, because I do want to enjoy this signing. It is a signing that I wanted anyways. And I actually have a hot take about the whole pricing thing and all this when we get to it. So I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, look, we'll start on Manchester United because it was the big breaking news today. We'll come back to the others a little bit later. £65 million set fee. And I want to ask you boys a question because I want to set this. The viewers can say what they want because they're at home or traveling, wherever they are. I've already seen a few big Liverpool accounts do this. 71 million for Mbeumo makes 100 million for Wirtz look crazy. One with the add-ons, one without. Ches was bantering us earlier, which he's entitled to do. But Ches has always said when we mentioned Madueke, we can't include the add-ons. So just for our podcast, I'm happy with either as long as we're consistent. Are we including add-ons? Or are we not including? Or are we not?
You can't include add-ons. You can't.
You got to talk about base fee. You got to talk about.
Okay, cool. Fee. And that's fine. I'm happy to go either way. But what you know what it can be like on a podcast sometimes. I can sit there and say I'm happy with paying 65 million, and then someone goes, but it's 71. Like I'm just looking at it. I'm cool. 65 plus the add-ons. Because at the end of the day, Man United to pay that extra 6 million, we've got to get back into the Champions League. And me and Staffy disagree on a lot. But we both agree on one thing. If we're back in the Champions League at the end of next season, we're both going to be pretty chuffed with how our season's probably gone, and no one's going to care about that. But yeah, look, £65 million base fee for the player. I totally agree with Staffy. 7 weeks to get there is too long. Called it out last week. Called it out on the United stand. Too long. I stand on what I said, that we were right to try and negotiate. But I've criticised earlier on today, and I'll do it again now, that we've done a bad job of negotiating, and that's an area that we need to improve on. And if the people that are undertaking the negotiations don't start getting better this summer, January, next summer, I want Ineos to look at removing them and finding better people, because I still personally feel like we're slightly overpaid based on our own club's valuation. So everyone's got their own subjective view. Something is fine, something is way too much, something is slightly too much. I think it's slightly too much. But I'm the same as you, Staffy. I'm criticizing those elements. But what I'm not going to allow that criticism of Ineos to do is to skirt away from the fact that we have just signed, I think, a fantastic football player who, if he has the right profile, if he, on paper, he moves the needle for us. So I'm happy. But the medical's booked for this weekend. He'll be ready for the tour, which gives us 2 new signings, not including Diego Leon, that we don't know whether he's going to be with us, whether he's going to be with the reserves or not. I'm not personally including him at this point as a new signing. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll change our minds. But right now, I'm not. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Staffy. Very, very happy that we've got him. Took too long to get there. But how good a player, Don, do you think he is going to... How good do you think he is going to be for Manchester United? Because I've seen a lot of tweets today. I've seen a lot of conversations in group chats. I've listened to a lot of streams of Rivals. And no one's really talking about the football. And that's why I'm glad Lawler's saying here, because it would have just been on the money for an hour and a half, and we never would have got round to the football. So football-wise, how good is this, Don, in your opinion?
Bro, he's one of the best attackers in the league. You know, you have to be real about it, man. In front of goal, you can trust him way more to get you a goal. I was at the bridge when we played Brentford at home last season when we just about beat them, and he scored. If you remember, the mistake that we had at the back, and then he just ran through everyone and ended up scoring, bro. You know, he's someone that you can actually trust in front of goal to score. He creates chances. You know, very tenacious. He works hard off the ball. He's quite durable as well. I don't think his fitness, his injury record is bad. In all honesty, I've never really known Mbeumo to be injured like that, bro. I feel like this guy's there week in, week out. You know what I'm saying? So again, it's Premier League proven, bro. You know what I mean? So the only thing that you need to really look at with him is, you know, the step up now to a big club. How is he gonna embrace that? Is he gonna go the other way, or is he gonna really embrace it and even, you know, get even better as a player? For me, I think it's gonna be the latter, bro. Because when I'm looking at United and looking at what's around them, he's not walking into a United team that just won the league, right? Where there's all these top players. He's gonna be the guy that they're looking at. So he's gonna have to raise the level and help everyone else to win games. Yeah. So I think you lot got bumped. I think it was, you know, if you took all this time, it's like same energy I had for Clearlake with Caicedo. We took all that time. We should have fucking got a deal. We ended up overpaying. Similar sort of thing as you, man. You know what I'm saying? You did end up getting him for less than what you wanted him to, right? And you took all this time. But like Staffy said earlier, it's done now. It is what it is. You know, you haven't had your first game yet, have you?
No,
we play tomorrow against Leeds.
Tomorrow. Oh, okay. So he's only going to miss a game. He's going to do the medical over the weekend. But brilliant signing, man. It's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between him and Cunha. I think they're going to have a good link up, man. And it'll be interesting to see what striker you bring in. Because, yeah, you might have linked to Jackson. And listen, I'll be real. The link up play and that, I think Jackson will enjoy playing with these guys.
Yeah, I love how you're talking about him because he's already here. We'll talk about Jackson later. Back to Mbeumo.
Staffy's mood. Let's not kill Staffy's mood.
Yeah, he was always going to insert it. I was just predicting when it's going to happen. We'll talk about it when we talk about it. But no, listen, it's a good signing. I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the price. If you notice, I was one of the few people that actually didn't mind the price. I always had this stance where I said, if you pay anywhere between 60 to 70 for Mbeumo, I don't think that's an overpay. I think that's you just paying the market price. Anything under than 60, I would have been like, wow, we left with the bargain. Am I going to sit here and tell you guys that this whole time I didn't trust Ineos? I felt like they were taking too long. And now that I'm looking at the deal, they paid 65 million in fixed fee and then 6 in add-ons. And it took us 7 weeks to negotiate that price, which basically was given to us a month ago or 6 weeks ago, I should say. And even our payment is going to be over 4 years. So it's not like we stretch it out over like 6 years or something they haven't heard of. They just got an average number of 4. So nothing about this signing in terms of negotiations just comes out like, wow, so amazing. Nothing is amazing about it. However, I actually think 60 to 65 million is a decent price. We had this argument yesterday in the chat with David, and I presented to him other names. When you really look at every 20-goal Premier League goal scorer over the last few years, all of them cost, and I love that you put this here because I was talking about 20-goal scorers. Look at these. You got people like Kudus, just 9 GA, Madueke 10 GA, Lange 17 GA, Gittins 12 GA, not even in the Premier League. Joao Pedro 16 GA. These guys didn't even crack 20 goals in the league, and they went for similar prices. I look at 55 to 65 around the same range. But when you revisit the transfers of the last 2 years, Solanke more recently, because he was 19 goals, but I like to just say 20 goals scorer, just one goal. He went for 65 last season to Spurs. And a lot of people, as much as they thought it was an overpayment, that is the price that you pay for 20-plus goals in the Premier League right now. Because when you look at the surrounding numbers, who else scores 20-plus a season? You got the Mo Salahs, Son, Haaland, Watkins one season. All these names are nowhere near 65. They're way, way, way more. So this is the market price. I think 60 to 65, it's okay. Like, I'm not looking here and saying we got a bargain. Neither am I saying we overpaid. I think you paid the correct price for someone who had 20 goals and 7 assists last season. I think it's fine. But outside of the pricing, because I want to talk a little bit about the player. I'm excited about the player. I think I might have fluked it one time when we were talking like early in the summer, or maybe before the summer even started. We were talking about like the likes of players that I'd like to see, and I was saying Cunha and Mbeumo. Never did I dream that we were actually going to get those two done. Like, it was just complete fluke that we talked about them, and our club actually went for them. I think it's a good dynamic. They both bring two different elements. One is more involved in build-up, dropping deep. one guy, and I'm going to make a comparison, and please, as Terry likes to say, the toaster people, I'm not saying he's the same quality as this player. I'm comparing stylistically. I look at Mbeumo more as a Mo Salah, a player who plays a little bit more advanced up the pitch. He holds up play well on the wing, which is something that we don't really talk about. But like as a hold-up player down the wing, where basically you can loft the ball to him. He holds the ball well. He has a nice a low center of gravity. He carries the ball very well. He actually shoots a lot. He doesn't take a lot of time to register a shot. Apparently, he's averaging about 3 seconds to register a shot, something that pretty much we don't have a lot of players that can do in this team. And his conversion rate, when you take it away from penalties, he has a decent conversion rate. Just to put it into numbers, he has a 23% conversion rate. We had Garnacho, who took the most shots in our team, which is basically why I'm comparing him to Mbeumo. He had a 7%. So you're talking about 3 times better the percentage. But obviously, if you take away the penalties, it'd be a little bit less. It's a great signing. I'm excited to see it. He's going to add so much to our team in ball carrying. And as I said, shots on target, just actions leading to shots, all that stuff. We are desperate for that, and we added 2 players that can give us that next season. So I'm excited to see it, man. It's a great signing.
No, I hear it, bro. I just checked his injury record as well. So he had COVID. He was out for 7 days. He missed 1 game. That was back in 2020. Then he had an ankle injury in 23-24, and he missed 19 games. They're the only 2 injuries he's had, bro. He's always available, man. He's a durable guy.
Yep. No, I agree. Listen, I agree with a lot of what Staffy said there, even on the financial stuff. And you know, I've got to pay some homage to Staffy. No certificates this week, but pay homage. You're not doing, and this is why mine and Staffy. A lot of people online think me and Staffy are really going at each other like it's a personal problem, and it isn't. It's a little bit of fun. It's a little bit of banter. I tag him. Sometimes he tags me. Sometimes I don't respond because I ain't giving him no crap today.
You go reply to my tweet, and he was like, "No clap for you today."
Right? And it's all a bit fun. We both of us know it isn't personal. But it's why I've got to give Staffy credit, because a lot of people would be coming on today who have all said, I care about the fee we pay. So people talk about accountability. I care about not paying too much for players. I think it could hurt us in the long term. So, of course, I'm going to complain about the fee, although I like the player. Staffy isn't overly bothered by the fees we pay as long as it's in and around his valuation. Therefore, took too long to get there. Happy with the fee. Let's talk about the player. At least Staffy's being consistent. I see a lot of toaster people. I see a lot of the amoebas. I see a lot of the trolls who say, it's not my money, I don't care. And then when they pay too much, spend 3 days slagging off their club for paying too much money. The hypocrisy stinks. For me, both of us, at least we're still staying true to what our thoughts and feelings were on these deals. So I want to pay homage to you for that. But I agree with what you said about him.
I never had an issue with the fee. If you remember, me and you, like a couple of weeks ago, you were like, should we just pay the asking price? I never thought 60 me and you argued that they asked for 70 and it was at 60. Outside of that, I never had an issue with the money. I kept saying, I actually think he's worth it. When they were saying, we don't want to get pushed around, I was like, where are you getting pushed around? If you end up paying 60 million for him, which I thought at the time, I was like, 60 million is not bad for him at all. That's 5 million more than Madueke.
You know where my thoughts come from, though, right? So when I've done work with, do you know who John Smith is?
No, but that name sounds very familiar.
Yeah. John Smith was the first ever super agent. He runs the FIFA Best Awards. I worked with him on a few shows. And all of this stems from what he told me and taught me, that when you're in negotiations for players, even if we wanted to get the price down a little bit, if you just jump to it early, he said, what can often happen is it ends up having a domino effect to the next transfer, the next transfer, the next transfer. So that's why I care about not just rolling over and having our bellies tickled, and I stand on that. Equally, I'm frustrated we didn't get the price down more. But look, we've agreed to disagree. We've gone through that for the last 2 weeks. We won't bore the audience with that again. I agree with what you said. I do think he's similar to Mo Salah, stylist, in terms of the way he operates. Mo Salah is obviously a better player. He's in GOAT conversations. Mbeumo's nowhere near that. But even on 65 million, if he goes and scores similar to, if he can be a player for us that's scoring close to 20 goals a season for 3, 4, 5 years, it will end up being a bargain. And I put this tweet up earlier, and I want to preface this by saying, I'm not just looking at the GA and cost per goals to decide what the best deal is. It's just some information that I wanted to share on this tweet. But when I look at this deal, I ask this question, like, who got, and I want to ask this question to you first on paper, because it's always on paper with transfers. On paper, which deal or deals stand out on here as the best value for money? Which ones do you think are going to yield the best results next season for their respective teams? And just to point out, Madueke has just been announced as an Arsenal player. Big intro video has just dropped.
It's been announced, yeah.
Yeah.
I think obviously Kudus didn't have the best season, but I think 55 million for Kudus is the right sort of benchmark. Bring that back up. João Pedro as well, definitely, bro. If it wasn't for João Pedro, we don't win the Club World Cup. He's paid himself back, basically. You know what I'm saying? He's paid himself back, bro. Who else have you got there? Cunha, 62 million. Mbeumo, 65 million. I mean, look, 65 million for Mbeumo. He's gonna score you goals, innit? But I still think it's a little bit more than what I would have expected you lot to pay. And he's got 1 year left as well, don't he, on his contract?
Two.
He's got. Is that the option to
extend? Yeah, one option. And Premier League teams always trigger them. That's why when people ignore them, I'm like, you're lying, because are we pretending that in a year from now, when Mbeumo's contract is running out, Brentford are gonna be like, all right, it was nice having you. They're gonna dab him up and he's gonna walk out the door. No, of course they're gonna extend him one more year so they can sell him. So people who pretend it's only 1 year instead of 2, like, what are you doing here? It's just cheap banter. I'm not gonna lie. There's better ways to banter than that. Come on, there's better jokes.
I expected him to leave for less than 65 in it. I'll be real, but it's not like crazy extortion. It's not like 80 million or 90 million plus. That's when you're getting overly bumped. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's decent value for money, because at the end of the day, you're paying for Premier League experience. You're not paying for someone that's coming into the league and they're having to learn all the stadiums. They're having to learn all these different things. Like in Mbeumo, he's used to it already, bro. You know what I mean? He's been to.
He's gonna come in and listen. This guy's gonna come in and there's no adaptation. The only thing he needs to adapt to is his life at the club and his new team.
Manchester.
I expect him to come in, and in terms of football, the minute he's on that pitch for 90 minutes, I expect him to just have no problems at all. The guy's been here, and I love that. By the way, I always appreciate a Premier League player that made his way up from the Championship to the Premier League and progressing in the Premier League. He got the Championship education. He had like 3 years in Brentford where his year wasn't the best. It was just like 3-4 years where it was like slightly over double digits. And then last season, the minute Tony leaves, he gets his breakout season. Like if you put these numbers on a graph and you just put the name away, you're going to look at it. You're like, this is the progression that I want for any player before I sign. Because you don't see an insane spike out of nowhere. It's slight progression year after year after year, which shows that like, he's not a one-season wonder. The kid has been here in England for about 7 years, improved gradually. Now he's 25 years old. He had a breakthrough season. He got a big move to a big club. You'd expect that him as a person and as a personality can deal with the idea of now that you made a jump from Brentford to United, and you're able to, even though we're not good right now, it's still a big jump from anyone to go from Brentford to a club of this size. You expect that him personally can handle that. More recently, I praised João Pedro for that. I looked at him on the pitch and I'm like, you know what? He's playing with some swagger. He's like, yeah, look at me. I went from a smaller club to Brighton, now in Chelsea, now I'm going to show what about. I saw him mouthing the PSG players like he's been playing at the highest levels of Europe for years. These are the type of things that you want to see from your players when they make that step.
110,
I think he can do it, and I hope he can do it.
110%, bro. What's really interesting as well, you know, as an op, watching that first game of the season objectively and that, is the fact that you're playing Arsenal.
We're going to be playing Arsenal. You're not going to be objective.
You're playing Arsenal, and those two, Cunha and Mbeumo, and whoever you bring in, because you're bringing in a striker, you know, hopefully it's Nico Jackson and whatnot, You're bringing in a striker, they can make a name for themselves instantly, bro, Because Mbeumo puts out a man of the match performance against Arsenal first game of the season, and these guys lose, and you win at Old Trafford, a place that's become a brothel over the past few seasons or whatever, they can instantly start to make a name for themselves, bro. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, United is like a family club, innit? You know what I'm saying? Like, right or wrong, they're gonna back you. That's just how it is with the United, bro. They're gonna back you right or wrong. So the fact that they're playing Arsenal first, Cunha, Mbeumo, whatever striker comes in, they should embrace it. I'm not saying the rest of your players shouldn't, but I'm saying those specifically. You're playing a big game as your first game of the season. They should really, really embrace it and use that as a moment to, like, you know, build even more of a relationship with the fans. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't really force relationships with players, innit? You know what I'm saying? Look at Sterling, bro. Sterling came Chelsea. He could never build a relationship with us. Same thing with Man City. You know what I'm saying? But with United, like I said, it's a little bit different, man, because the club's a little bit more like a family sort of thing.
Yeah, no, look, listen, I agree. I think, sorry, I had to shoot off. My dog was going crazy at the front door. Delivery driver was here. I thought my dog was going to fucking kill him, even though it's through a door. He was getting mental. But yeah, look, I think they will embrace it. What I like about this deal and I like about Cunha and I hope this plays out, and of course I do. I'm a Man United fan. We haven't done this. I really feel like we haven't done this much in the Premier League. We have bought players from other Premier League teams, but I don't feel like we've gone out from an attacking perspective and gone, who are two of the best attackers, best goal scorers, best creators from the previous season that are available to us in the Premier League? Of course, there was no way this summer we weren't getting Palmer, we weren't getting Haaland, we're not getting Saka, we're not getting anyone like that from a rival and from a teams that are doing well. We're not getting Salah, fuck me, we're not doing nothing like that. But we've gone and taken two of the players that were inside the top 10 goal scorers last year from other teams. There's a chance that we look at Ollie Watkins, and again, Ollie Watkins is not the end of the rainbow shit for me, but he has been in the top 10 goal scorers for the last few years. It's a marked improvement on what we've got. And that's important because so many games last year, we just couldn't score goals. And when you're watching Mbeumo's goals, forget the screamers, which he scored every single season. And I hope to see him continue. There's certain goals that he scored where he's got a player in front of him who will drop a shoulder, create half a yard and put it into the bottom corner. He did that regularly last year and the year before that. We ain't got players that do that. And sometimes in games, when you haven't got players that have the ability to score or got like a half chance in that way, you can just sometimes like tread water for a game. Then you concede, then you lose, and you're like, oh, that was crap. Where if you have a player who can score from nothing, if you've got players that can do that, let's have it right. You can often start to overlook your performances. Unless you're bad, unless you're being peppered, you can often overlook them. And even last season, I think I'm being conservative when I say 10 of the games we didn't win, drew or lost. If we had some finishers up front, I do believe those games could have been and would have been different. The pressure right now on Man United would look the complete and utter opposite. So look, I'm chuffed with it. And by the way, on that list of players, because I haven't even answered the question on my Twitter feed yet, I think João Pedro's fantastic. I love both Man United's deals. I think Gittins is going to be an excellent signing. And over the course of the last week, and it isn't just because his words are out now, I've got a feeling Madueke is going to do all right at Arsenal. Just a guy, and I mean, all right. I'm not saying I wouldn't put him best on that list.
Define all right.
Yeah, what does that mean? What do you mean?
Yeah, what do I mean? What do I mean by do all right? I don't think he's going to be like Raheem. I think people have got this weird thing in their head. It's going to be like Raheem Sterling. No good performances, no goals, not impacting games. I think he's going to be someone that I think will start the season coming on from the bench at the moment. Let's see what else happens in the transfer market for them. I think sometimes when they take Saka off, there's nothing. The end product's still got to come, there's no doubt. But I think he's going to do an okay job. Will he pay back 48 million? Potentially, because I think he's got every chance of scoring next season as many goals as Kudus is going to do at Tottenham. I think he's got a chance of scoring as many goals as Elanga does at Newcastle, because I don't think Elanga's going to do as well next season as he did last year. I think he'll do all right. I think he'll do all right personally. But yeah, I like quite a lot of those deals on that list. And I think next season, mad bit is, it's been for a while. Look at the teams, barring Gittins, with all these players have been taken from. It's that mid-block of teams are nearly always hard to beat, barring obviously Madueke. Those teams that are often a thorn in your side are losing their best players. For me, it's a great dynamic for the league next year. How are those guys going to replace those players? What does it do for that sort of, I mean, Brentford are being pillaged. I still think Vissel will go. Norgard's gone. The manager's gone. How they look next season. I mean, the fact they brought a set piece coach in as their manager as well.
That's mad.
They could be going down. So, yeah, there's some great business in there for the Premier League clubs. Man United, though, striker is what Fabrizio has said the next deal is going to be. Obviously, there's been work on the strikers already because we've gone for Delap, we've gone for Gyökeres, we've gone for Ekitike and been told no by them for Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool, respectively. The names on the list at the moment, you've got Benjamin Sesko, there's Jackson, that the club are holding an interest in. There's Ollie Watkins, there's Mateta. They're the names where United...
Don't forget Jamie. Don't forget Jamie.
Jamie who?
Jamie Vardy, bro.
No. Jamie Vardy's agent has offered... So there's a difference here. Jamie Vardy, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Mitrovic, all those guys, their agents have offered their services to us. And I'll say this again. When you're out tonight, Don, you're walking... You know what I mean? If you're walking down the street, and a lady, you're in Thailand, okay? And one of them lady boys comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, mister, do you want to go for a little bit of horizontal hula?" If you stop her halfway through and say, "No, thank you," you ain't done that, have you? You're not going to get called out for having some fun with the lady boy if you said no, right?
Mm.
Or is that the same as you asking for the lady boy's number?
Hey, listen, I'm just
Come on,
letting you
Don.
know what.
Come on, Don.
I'm just letting you know what the streets are saying, innit? They're telling me that you man are after Jamie Vardy. I ain't
So
looked
I
into
want to
the
let
ins and
everybody
outs.
know the streets are saying Don said yes to the lady boy, ladies and
No.
gentlemen. That's what your example means. Come on. No, I refute that. It's a joke.
I didn't know the ins and outs of what's going on, bro. You know what I mean? But I know that you lot
He
want
was
Action
too
Jacko.
drunk.
Yeah?
He was too drunk. He didn't know until it was too late. Big up Thailand.
All I know is that you lot want Action Jacko, bro, yeah? You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, I call them lot CEX boys. You lot CEX boys light, yeah? There was a Mason Mount that you lot took off of us. There's a Jackson right now that you can take off of us. I think he'll be a brilliant signing, bro. The link-up play,
But can we talk about No, I'm stopping you. No, go on. You cook, and then I'll put it in the bin. Go on.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like, I think the link-up play will be great. You know, I think the Mohican is fantastic. I think his finishing is brilliant, bro. It's even got better last season. You know what I'm saying? I think the link-up between Mbeumo and Cunha Jackson will be dreams, bro. Yeah? Old Trafford, what do they call the place? Yeah? Theatre of Dreams, bro. He'll bring that back to your place. I'm telling you, bro. You'll even get rid of the rats because of the quality on the pitch. You know what I'm saying? This will be a fantastic signing for you, man, bro. You can't get a better deal out there for 60 million. Premier League proven. He facilitates. He links up play well. He runs the channels. He doesn't stop moving in the box. He's good in the air. He doesn't get sent off. He's not petulant. He is a fantastic signing, bro. I think Action Jackson should be number 1 on that list, bro. I'll be so real. And he's only what? How old is he? 23? You know, he can get better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Amarim's there to develop him and that. Maresca's not good enough to develop him. You've got an even better manager to develop him. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll be fantastic for you, man, to buy Action Jackson. I can't lie.
Shut up, bitch.
First of all, you don't mean anything that you just said. You absolutely just gaslit us. I let you finish. I let you speak. Everything you just said was completely irrelevant. Thank you so much for this useless monologue that no one needed to listen to. Nico Jackson, I can admire you from afar. Please, we're good. I don't want Nico Jackson. I don't want to spend 50 million on Nico Jackson. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of money. And if you want to talk about hold up, we do have a striker who's better at hold up than him already in Xerxes. So we're good off that. I'd rather a different profile. Or if you're going to get that profile, I'd rather an improved version of him. So now that you wasted our time, let's actually go back to talking about real strikers that we're possibly linked with. I really wanted Katika. You asked me this earlier, and I told you we'll mention in the show. I wanted a Katika so much. I know he's kind of expensive, but I think a Katika coming in, especially that we were getting Mbeumo. I said, if you go get Mbeumo, that's basically the Ekitike Omar Marmoush relationship that they had in Frankfurt, because you get the direct attacker in Marmoush and Mbeumo, and then you put him with Ekitike, pass first player, good dribbling, good awareness. IQ, I'm not gonna lie, beyond his years. I know he's only like 22, 23, but he plays like he's in his 30s. I thought that would have been a perfect signing for us. That dynamic of the front three would have been great with that signing, but it doesn't look like we're going for him, unfortunately. It looks like he's going to either Liverpool or Newcastle based on the rumors from last week. So now I'm left with Nico Jackson and Sesko. I want nothing to do with Sesko either. If we're going to pay north of 80 million for a striker, there's no way I'm spending that on Sesko and Nakatike. Especially that we're in a situation still that our team is just, we don't know where our team is. We just finished 15th. Yes, we added good players in Cunha and Mbeumo, but we don't know where our team is. We're not fully developed as a team either. So it's like, you don't need a striker who makes a lot of bad decisions, still working on his craft, still working on his game, needs a lot of development to bring him in and put him in this team. Like, he's not ready to do something like that. This would be a very similar Haaland mistake. Is he better than Haaland? Yes, but we shouldn't be going for him at all. If I'm going for a young striker, the reason I went for a Katika is because I think he's a quite intelligent player. So I feel like he's kind of beyond his development. You know, he might not have the best conversion rate, but I look at his play and I'm like, you know what? He's quite a clever player. I'm not going for someone like Sesko at this age. I thought Sesko fits a team that is fully developed already. A team like Arsenal, when I spoke about that, I said, you know what? If you bring him in, just tell him to use his athleticism and his agility to score goals from the box and use his height, because he's like, what, 6'5", 6'6", quite a tall player. That's what I thought they should do. I want nothing to do with Sesko. I don't think he's going to come to the Premier League, especially United, and do well early on. I still think he needs to go through the learning curve of struggling for a couple years until he finds his rhythm. If I'm going for a striker, and these are the links that we had outside of obviously the ones that we mentioned, if we're going to go for a striker, please go get me Mateta, and just don't waste my time with strikers that are going to cost me 80 million and they're more likely to flop than not. Mateta is probably going to be on the cheaper side. I'm assuming he'd be at max 50 million, 55 if we're pushing it, which I'm still okay with paying. He's been in the Premier League for years. He has a good, very physical stature on him. He's quick, he's tall, he's broad, he can bully defenders, and who'll make runs for his players. The most important thing is I'm looking for someone who can play off Cunha more than Mbeumo, because I think Mbeumo, he really won't be my struggle. It's more of Cunha because of the dynamic that we have on the left right now. If I have someone who likes to pick up the ball and run, I don't just need someone to link up play with him. I need someone that knows how to make runs. I need someone who can drag a defender so you can open up more passing opportunities and running opportunities for Cunha and Mbeumo. That is what I'm looking for. And I'd rather someone, since we went for 2, and here I do this, Premier League proven players, we might as well go for a third one, and that's Mateta. And his track record is there. His goals is there. We've seen his performance in the FA Cup as well. Scores some big goals. I know there's no strong links, but the obvious option is there right now. That is the obvious option. Anything else, I'm not going to lie, it's a waste of money. Don't go to Chelsea. If we go to Chelsea, I might have to crash out.
I can't lie.
I really will.
Yeah,
I'll be so real, bro. I can see you, man, coming in for Jackson. I'll be so honest, bro. Jokes aside.
You want us to, you don't
Jokes
see
aside.
us.
Bro, listen, I've given this guy patience. You know what I think of the player, bro. Like he's too wasteful in front of goal, very petulant at the minute. His third choice behind Delap and Pedro as well. You know what I'm saying? But like I keep saying with him, I do think that he's a late bloomer. I think he'll be good, like very good, right, in front of goal, maybe at like 26, 27. I don't think he'll ever learn how to strike a ball consistently. I don't think that's something that you can learn, in all honesty, right? But in terms of his technique, that's something that he can improve. You know what I'm saying? But United, they haven't got that time, bro. You guys need to get back into the top 6, get back into the top 4, and then start challenging.
Yeah, but
again.
we're not the move for Jackson.
Saying?
If you're being honest, he needs 1 year to develop somewhere, and it's not United.
Because
Chelsea gave him a better environment.
Hear me out.
Chelsea gave him a better environment over the last 2 years, and he failed to do that. United are not really in that environment right now. I agree with you. Maybe he is a late bloomer. Maybe he needs... Look at Moise Kean as an example, because we were talking about him, and I was like, you know what? I actually wouldn't be so against Moise Kean. I didn't like him, and his whole career just looked bad. He goes to Fiorentina, and it looks like the one season where he finally matured. Strikers always need that one season where, like, after a few seasons of struggling, especially at this time, it's PSG, couple Italian teams, Everton, which was a complete failure of a move. You're looking at Fiorentina this season, and you're like, you know what? He's finally matured as a striker because like he went through the failure to get there. Sometimes you need to fail a little bit first to get there. Jackson right now is going through the failure. He needs that one team, which is why I think if he goes to Villa, that's probably a better option to him. He goes to a team where he does well, and you're like, you know what? Maybe after a year, I'll open the idea of you going back to a traditional top 6 team. He hasn't done that yet. And if it comes to United, it's good for you because you're getting 50 mil. But for being realistic, it's a bad move for him, and it's a horrible move for us.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at, Staffy. I wasn't selling him to say, like, obviously I was bantering that, being shameless. But in terms of Jackson, there's a ceiling, right? And right now, when I'm looking at the teams around you, there's a ceiling that he can get you to, which is probably like
but all of these, this is what I would say, that all of the strikers mentioned, though, improve us comparatively to what we've got. That this is one of those deals where I think the money is really important, because I agree, I like Sesko. I think there's a player that can develop there, but I also agree dropping 80 to 90 million pounds on him now, if he doesn't hit the ground running, you could end up burning him out. And I was looking at some of the stats earlier when you start comparing Mateta, Watkins, Sesko, Ekitike. I agree with Staffy. When you look at Ekitike, I'm not surprised to see his numbers in touches in the box, XG, duels, much higher.
Everything bar his conversion rate.
His conversion's low.
Why is Jackson not there? Why is Jackson not there though?
Because I don't want Jackson.
Discussing good strikers.
But you're heavily linked to this guy, bro.
But we're not heavily linked with him. Nothing's advanced.
He's on our short list.
He's on our short list. Yeah. But I'm looking at this here. Again, you look at Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins has got the second biggest elements in there as well. Mateta's is interesting because then Mateta's got that much higher conversion rate. But again, this is where you got to be careful with these graphs, people. All right. So Mateta's touches in the box is really low, but that's because he's a Crystal Palace player and they counter-attack. So of course he's going to have. So I was looking at Emi Martinez, and somebody said, "Oh look, he barely intercepts like the other goalkeepers." Well, that's because Villa play a lot of low blocks. When's he coming? And he had a chance to intercept against Man United. He got sent off, but he doesn't do that a lot. And I think that's something that you have to look at systems in there. Sesko is very similar. It wasn't a great year last year for RB Leipzig. So his touches in the box it's a bit like, why didn't he score more? And it's what you could look at as well. This shows me that if you give Mateta more touches of the ball, if you get Sesko more touches of the ball in the box and more opportunities, you might score more goals because their conversion rate is much higher. Their conversion rates are very, very good in that relation. So, look, I think all of them improve us. The thing for me is money, because you could get Sesko. We're not going to get Ekatiko. We can put him aside for a moment, but we could get Sesko, and maybe he does hit the ground running. One thing I'd say about Sesko, I'm mad with that opening game of the season be against Arsenal. I'm just putting it out there, like with the players.
It reminds me of Morata and Lukaku again.
Yeah, I hope it's better than that though. But yeah, like Sesko could hit the ground running and be amazing for us, and then we don't need to buy another striker. The problem that you've got is if you get Ollie Watkins on Mateta, they might do us a job. Score us 15 goals a season for a few years, but maybe next summer, the summer after, we might then look at it and go, we now need to go out and buy one of the best available strikers in the world. If you drop 80 odd million plus on a young player, it eats. I know it's early on, but it eats into future budgets. I think you're overpaying. And that would be my concern with Sesko is that he doesn't have that marked improvement straight away. I think we need, and this is where the Prem proven element comes in for the cost. Because I just think Mateta and Ollie Watkins, at the age they are, their experience in the league, I just think there's a better chance they hit the ground running for us. And I think that's our aim for next year. I think we're going to look at some midfielders and some defenders and goalkeeper. But I think
Ollie Watkins, listen, if we get Ollie Watkins, first of all, I'm finished because I slagged them off way too many times on the channel. So I just can't. There's no U-turn. There's no U-turn there. Yeah, it's just, I couldn't believe what I saw. And they're asking for more than 70 mil. And if you notice, every year they're dropping the price a little bit more because they realize the price they were asking for him was always unrealistic. 100 mil for 2 seasons, and then last season was 70 mil. Arsenal didn't want to pay that. What is it going to be now? He's 29, and let's be honest, I just think his ceiling was always limited. I've never understood the hype about him. The guy went into the Champions League last season, scored 1 goal. He's really proven that he's just a very limited player. Like, he's just so limited. I don't get the hype, bro. I never understood it. So at this age, coming from Villa, they're not really going to give us a decent price. They're not going to tell us, yeah, he's 50 million or something, which is what I value him at. Like, he's nothing more than 50 million in my opinion. You know, it's a deal that I don't want to do. If you tell me who's probably like put money away, who would you rather take as a footballer in this current state? Yes, I do see us playing better with Ollie Watkins than we do with Nico Jackson, just because of like how he stylistically likes to play. I think he makes good runs in behind as well. He would benefit off playing off Cunha. But in terms of money, it's just a horrible deal. I struggle to find a good deal right now outside of Mateta. And that's why I'm like so adamant about it.
Let me ask both of you. Gut feeling. Who do you think you're going to sign then up top? What's your gut feelings there?
I have no idea.
How about you, Terry?
Honestly, it's not my gut feeling. I'm trying to work out whether it's my gut feeling or fear. My fear says Nico Jackson, right? But that's fear. That's like, oh, magic, because there's no. It'd be so shit, and it'd be horrible. It'd be so shit. It really, really would. Especially listening to you and Chairs go from defending him and cuddling him at night to slagging him off. It's just this shamelessness.
Nah. I've been cooking that guy for half the season now.
Yeah, but gut feeling right now, I've got a feeling it's going to be Sesko. And I'll tell you why. I think Leipzig, this is what I've got a feeling is going to end up happening. I agree with what Staffy said about the price of Watkins going up. I think Mateta is going to commit to Palace and just say no thank you to everybody. I think he's going to do that as well. Especially with the way they've been treated. I thought at first with them dropping down out of the Europa League, it would enhance our chances. I think that's going to make him, because he really wants to repay the club for giving him this chance. He sort of wants to do that for a year. I think he also might listen to his advisors and go, you could win another fucking trophy here, because Palace could win the Conference League. We saw the standards last year. They've got a team called Serviette. I think Leipzig are going to start to drop their price later on in the window. I also think Sesko is pissed. I think Sesko is fuming that he didn't get the move to Arsenal. And I think I think we'll end up getting that price down by hook or by crook, and it'll be Leipzig more than us doing it. And I just got this feeling it's going to be Sesko. There's something about it. I just think,
the Red Bull organization, they don't really do that though. Like they usually sell players for very high prices. They don't really budge on their prices. So it's a hard institution to negotiate with. I just don't. In his current state right now, even when Arsenal would link with him, I never thought that the money made sense. I thought stylistically it made more sense for Arsenal, but money it just never made more. It never made sense. You're paying just too much money for potential. We can't do that. We just got burned by Højlund. You can't do that in a matter of 3 years. You spend over 70 mil to 80 mil for 2 young projects. It just can't. It can't. I can't see that happening. I'd rather go for what's the Fulham striker's name? Muniz or Muniz? I'd rather go for him because I think he's mad underrated. And he's someone that's not linked with any. If you're gonna go for like a desperate move, you really need a striker, and everyone else is just not available for some reason, whether you're overpriced or some players like Mateta don't want to leave, or if Katika is going somewhere, just go for him. I'd rather go for him. I think he's mad underrated, and he's just someone that's not linked with anyone. That sounds like an easy deal. It's either that or just, I honestly, as crazy as this might sound, I probably not want to buy a striker then, because I don't want to buy Sesko. I deadass don't want to buy Sesko.
I hear you on that. Leipzig price Sesko out of a move is what Wayne said.
Why are you so against Sesko?
It's a horror move for us. It's horror. He needs to come in and develop still. I look at his game. I like some elements of his game. You know, like I'm not going to do, like I joked a few times, I called him baby Zlatan. It's mainly because of his height and the way he strikes a ball. He does strike a ball very hard. But I'll be honest with you, like he just makes a lot of bad decisions still. Like 1v1, he makes so many bad mistakes. When he runs at a goalkeeper, he makes so many bad mistakes. Like there's good elements to his game, but he's a striker, in my opinion. If you're going to sell him for close to 100 mil or north of 80 mil, that has to be in 2 years. He has to be much more developed in his game to be for that. The issue is clubs like Leipzig, because they have a good track record of selling young talent, they are able to ask for these prices. When you look at their organization, they've always sold good players, especially to the Premier League. So you look at them and they're like, oh, I trust them. The issue is you find yourself in a project that has no guarantees to work. And yet, as Terry said, you put yourself 80 mil, bro. That takes you how many years to pay? Like over the next 4 years? Even if you're paying like 20 mil a year over the next 4 years, that is so much money. It's such a high risk, especially when we have someone like Højlund still on our payroll. If our striker options going next season is Højlund and Sesko, I'm not gonna lie, that's just really bad. It's really bad business.
Viewers, give us your thoughts, give us your opinions on that in the comments section below. Maybe Amorim could be playing in Mbeumo and Cunha up front with Delo as a wing back, with Maresca and someone else as left wing back. How do you think? Well, Maresca is not going to play.
He's one of the worst super chats ever, because number one, we don't play 2 strikers. Number 2, Ahmad is going to play on the right. Number 3, Maresca is not even in the team. Maresca is not allowed to play.
Maresca is part of the 5. He's part of the 5 that's got to train at 5 o'clock in the evening, bruv.
Yeah. Those are the ones like, oh, Amorim leaves from one door and they come in from one door.
I will say this. I mean, this is where like I will back United. It's not about the owners. The way the media are calling them the 5, like they're on trial for a crime they didn't commit, is fucking. That's the Bradford 5. Free the Bradford 5.
Someone said they're moving at the prison break. You know when the guys escaped from prison break.
Bro, I saw him riding with the Sancho into the training facilities. I was like, yeah, that's already a bad decision, bro. If he was hoping for any chance to get back in this team, now it's gone.
What's going on with Sancho right now, man? Because I'm seeing a few things about you lot are trying to pay him out, and like Juventus want him, and then I'm looking at Turkey want him.
He's most likely gonna go to Juventus. It's coming out that he wants to go to Juventus. His representatives were in Juventus 2-3 nights ago. The issue is they signed a what's his name Portuguese guy. Oh my god, for his name.
Conceição,
thank you.
Yeah,
and then they're trying to add Sancho now as a backup. We're priced at like 15 mil. I'm not gonna lie, like I can't believe how just bad this signing has been for us. But yeah, it looks like he's going to Juventus for 15 mil. And the only reason I think we're paying him is servants' pay is because you guys gave us 5 mil, and his pay is like 4 point something. So technically, you guys did help us. I just think it's shameful that we loaned him out for a whole season to play well, and I thought he did decent. Just to be priced at 15 mil. 15 fucking mil.
But you know what this is, though, right? And again, I mean, it's better than it was a few weeks ago. If you look at Damasio that's pushed this story, they were only offering £8 million 3 weeks ago, and with held on and negotiated. We don't make any money on the sale. We about break even because we still owe. This is where payment terms are so key. The way we did it with Sancho is we didn't pay a lot up front. It was later in the deal that we started. That's why we still owe 17.5 million on him. That's why a lot of deals are better off when you're paying over the first 2, 3, 4 years, because at least then it's done when you get to the latter stages. We're going to save the 13 million on his wages. The problem here is the wages. And it's like with a lot of our players. This is where I don't necessarily blame the new people in charge. It's difficult. It is very hard. I mean, our club have no say in convincing Sancho, and we have no part in the negotiations about Sancho and Juve agreeing personal terms. We can't influence that. Mm-hmm. The problem is the previous regime giving these guys 350k a week causes a massive problem now. And it's one of the reasons why I've always cared about the money. It's why I care about the payment structure. Like the Mbeumo deal. One thing that Ben Jacobs brought down is you never ever know unless that people release it. He says, but generally the longer the payment terms, the more expensive the player. But a lot of clubs prefer that. You did it with Caicedo. You paid Enzo Fernandez. You paid above the asking price so you could spread the payments for longer. Often a club, to get more cash in the business, in the bank earlier, will, over shorter payment terms, will accept a slightly lower bid. So Man United could have paid, maybe they could have got Mbeumo for 55 million if we were paying it half this summer and half next summer. But United wanted to spread that payment. That's actually, Staffy, where the extra money has come from, because we've now got less of a payment going out this year on that deal. But the issue that we have with getting rid of these guys is that the previous regime put all of them, including, I mean, the fact that Anthony's on 200k a week. These are, again, because people go, you can't find buyers. It's not that we can't find buyers. Real Betis and other clubs want Anthony. They're just not willing to pay him 200k a week. And what Anthony and these guys are doing, and this is where the club, and they might get it right, they might get it wrong. And I've said this all along. If you bow down week one and go to Sancho, look, we'll pay off your salary for the next year. Don't worry about it. All the other players are going to push for that as well. You've got to bide your time in that regard, because it's okay. We're going to break even on this Sancho deal, but we're still probably leaving 10 million on the table. If we do that to each sale this summer, leave 10, 20 million on the table on average across 4, 5, 6 sales, you're talking 50, 60 million pound. That's a whole. And again, I would rather get better deals and sign the best striker, Mateta, on deadline day than get rid of those knobheads early and then have no money anyway. Like that, for me, why it's a hard balance. And by the way, there are cons to what I'm asking for. Like, I'm not sitting here and saying what I'm saying is perfect. The cons are you're paying all their salaries for a whole fucking season because they don't go. That eats into more money for next year. At the same time, it's bowing down to them. Like, there's this part of me where I feel a little bit like some of these guys are going to sail off the clubs happy, earning what they want, living a great life, and we're still paying them a little bit.
The principle.
It's the principle. It's bothering me, man.
110%, bro. And listen, with Sancho, look, me and Staffy here, we like Sancho, innit? You know what I'm saying? We like him as a player. You know, I've always rated him, bro. Like, it all goes back to when he fucking went to United at the time. I was disappointed, bro, because I'm looking at it and thinking, bro, why are you gonna go to Oli, number one? Yeah, who's already selling guys like Pogba dreams. You're gonna go to Oli. You're obviously going there for the money, because it came out that he was gonna be earning what, over 350k a week, over 300k a week, or whatever. How old was he at the time? 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of money to turn down, right? You know, but after he's come to Chelsea, apparently we offered him 180 a week and he still turned it down. And I'm like, what are you thinking, bro?
180 a week would have made him your, barring Sterling, first teamers, he would have been your joint second highest paid player at the club. Yeah, and he's turning that down. I don't know what, it's mad.
It don't make sense though. It don't make sense because he came into the team when we was cooking at the start of the season. He was one of the players that was cooking. When we fell off, he was another one that fell off for the team. When we picked it up again, he picked it up again as well, right? Chelsea obviously wanted this guy to stay. Now you're looking at the likes of João Pedro and Delap and that. He's actually got a target man to aim for. He's got a Delap, a João Pedro that's not going to break down as many attacks as a Jackson, for example, right? He's going to be playing with even more quality. He could have stayed at the club and actually helped us, you know, win stuff and even get his career back on track. But now you're looking at it, my man still ain't got a yard. Like, yeah, cool, every month you're getting paid probably over $1 million a month and that, yeah. But what have you got to show for it in your career, bro? Yeah, like, people like to say to me, oh, would you take a wage cut though? Would you take a wage cut? And I'm like, broski, this guy's been earning like over 300k a week for about 3-4 years now. He's going to be getting close to 200k plus bonuses. He's not going to go broke. He probably has so many investments and all these things as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and I don't even think it's about the short term. So what I was laughing at, sorry, it wasn't you. Man City are considering re-signing James Trafford if their two main goalkeepers leave. The reason I'm laughing is it's going to be another target Newcastle miss out on. Listen, Man United, we can be criticised this summer. I ain't taking no shit from Newcastle at all, right?
They've been getting a little boy. They've been getting a little boy. They've been getting a little boy.
They've realised that they're year sevens. They've gone to senior school. I don't know what you call high school. They've gone to high school. They've gone to senior school. They've gone in. You know, did this happen in America, Staffy? Like this definitely. I know me and Don are from the same area. You leave year 6, which you call grade 6. You go to grade 7. Right? Is that a change of school in America? Do you change like you go to
I went to school in Egypt.
In Egypt. Well, over here you go from like junior school to senior school, so high school. But you're year 6 in the primary school. And I was actually just at a primary school now, my kids. And the year 6s are so much bigger than all the other kids because they're getting older, right? They're 11. But then you go senior school and you're tiny and you're little. I feel like, and your mind ain't ready for it because you go in and your mind's like, we're still the big kids, right? And then you realize there's men in the school, like 17, 18. I feel like that's what Newcastle have gone through this summer. Second time in the Champions League, they're going for it. And the big boys are just, get out of the way. I'm taking that food first, bruv. They're having food taken off their plate, bruv.
Yeah, but they're doing well to keep their players. I'll say that. So
True,
they kept
true.
their players. I mean, for now at least, he's like still there. We'll see what happens with them. But that's one
I don't know where Sancho's going to end up.
No, I hear that. We'll see what happens with him. A few super chats.
I don't know if you saw that Adama Lukman because he was linked with a few Premier League. He's going to Inter now.
Yeah, see, it's a good move for Inter. Good move.
Yeah, that's a very good move for.
Here we go though.
Yeah, here we go.
Do you know what I like about that deal as well, right? Is one thing when I looked at Inter last year that in their attack, they lack pace. Good team, they lack pace. Even like both, like especially Lautaro Martinez, the man can't run. It's like he's running with concrete boots on.
They're old, bro. That's what it is.
This year says in a market where Madueke went for 52 million, 71 million for Mbeumo is great business. If only everyone rationalized like Arsenal fans do. You've got to remember there's banter in this as well. Like there's massive Liverpool accounts removing Wirtz's add-ons and adding Mbeumo's going, look at the difference in price. It's just what fans do. This is where I think you need to back your team, even if you hate your owners. I just don't see how any self-respecting Man United fan can join in with not just banter in their own club, perpetuating the lies about your own club. I can't do it personally, not my way.
Is Madueke 52 fixed or 52 with the add-ons?
It's actually that's with add-ons, but they're both add-ons. In fact, it's 48 million fixed.
Yep.
4 million add-ons.
It's like 3.5 million in add-ons or something like that.
Yeah,
they're not gonna go with add-ons. They're not winning anything.
This is the quote. I'll give you a quote from Madueke. Madueke has just said, and I quote. Let me get this for you now. I've got it to put on the screen. I had it made. He has said, why did he join Arsenal? To win all the competitions we are in. I feel like we're definitely capable of doing that.
Oh, so what, man's trying to do 20? He's trying to do 20 like Palmer, yeah? Number 20 like Palmer is what he's doing, yeah?
Oh, I just noticed that.
Who's 11?
You know what it is, bro? I noticed this is a heritage thing. Arsenal players Chelsea players go to Arsenal and say we're here to win things. Like, stop lying, bro. Stop capping. William said the same thing. He said, I'm here to win the Champions League in the next 3 years. Stop saying that.
Have you seen the message? Have you seen the message he put out when he left? Like Chelsea fans.
Madueke.
Yeah, it's put out this long paragraph.
What did he say?
You know what I mean? I know bro was typing that whilst crying, bro. Because he knows he's thinking to himself, shit, man. You know, am I even gonna get a medal for the Club World Cup, bro? You know what I'm saying? Don't worry, Donny, you can get your little medal. You gave us a few minutes in that.
Trump took it. There was one extra medal and Trump took it. He pocketed it.
Trump took it.
I'm not even joking. He actually left with a medal.
He took a medal.
Yeah.
I heard he's got the real trophy as well, right?
He better not. He better not, because
I think he took the. They said he took the actual trophy and they sent a replica to Chelsea.
Yeah, bro. He
the
better
way Infantino was glazing him, I wouldn't be surprised.
There was a comedian, right? I can't remember the comedian's name. He did some show the other day, a big sports awards thing in America, and he was at the game, and he was saying, he goes, it was mad, right? He said they sneaked into this box where Trump was, got invited, got like Trump come over and said hello to him. And he said Trump introduced him to his daughter, and he was like, "Oh, how hot she was!" And then he said we were sitting down, right? And then he just goes, he did the accent. I can't do the accent in the Trump voice. He's like, do you want to meet the president of FIFA? He said the president of soccer. He went, yeah, cool. What's his name? The president of FIFA? Ferentino.
What's that?
Ferentino or whatever, I forgot his name.
Yeah, him, right? He was over at the buffet filling his plate with food. Supposedly, Trump went, hey, said his name. He turned around, went, come here. Guy put his plate of food down, come over, and then sat with this guy talking to him. Trump just left and walked away and left them together. And it's like the man's got so much power and he yields it in those social environments, man. But I think he was like that before he was president. But
he was killing me, honestly. Yeah, the way he was standing there when he was about to lift the trophy, and like they're trying to tell him to move. Sanchez was like, bro, you need to move. And he's turned around to Sanchez as if he wanted to start talking to him, bro. He's that conversating with him.
He looked so clueless, bro. He had no idea what was going on.
He had no idea what was going on. I found it funny, personally. You know what I'm saying? I actually found it quite funny, man. Someone in the chat said, oh, Pedro's number 20, Palmer's 10. Broski, we know this. Palmer was 20 before. He only changed his number this season.
How do you boys see him? How do you think he's going to do, Staffy, at Arsenal? Do you think he'll be a hit? Do you think he'll win the online fans over the regular? The match-going fans are going to get behind him because match-going fans always do. You turn up, you cheer. Do you think he's going to convince people that he was worthy of the move?
I said this before. I actually don't think he's as bad as some people speak about him. I think the move is not a good move. It's not a lot because of Madueke. If he came from a different team for like 25 mil, knowing his ceiling is to be a backup, I think a lot of people won't have an issue with it. Coming from Chelsea for the price that he's at, that's what made it an issue. I don't really have an issue against him as a player. I think it would be very funny though if he ends up being the starting left wing for them, because a lot of people are like pretty much swallowing this whole move because they think he's just going to be a backup to Saka, and that's a decent backup. I think it'd be fun if he starts on the left wing, but I don't know how well he'll do. The issue is, as I said, the price for where he came from, and it's very hard to quantify what Madueke does on the pitch, because Madueke doesn't really contribute with a lot of G&A. So you need to look at his underlying metrics to look if he's good or not. A lot of what he does is basically 1v1 take-ons with his defender, putting a good cross into the box or setting up a teammate. You can't really look at what he does and say, oh, he gives me this amount of GA. I don't think he's ever going to have that element in his game. He has to work on that to say, yeah, I want to start being an output player, but I don't think he is. So I really don't see how this move is going to succeed. The only way for it to succeed is if they win the league, and then everyone's just not going to give a shit about how much they paid for players. Like, no one is going to sit here when they win the league and say, we paid 50 mil for it. That's the only way.
I think he'll give them something different in the attack in terms of, someone that's able to progress the ball against the low blocks. You need someone that's going to try to take the game by the scruff of their neck. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that he's going to do that over 90 minutes, but in moments, he could be that guy to just come off the bench and actually run at the fullbacks. You know what I'm saying? Create a bit of chaos, bro. Win a few fouls, try something. I know the end product's not there, but he does give them something different, innit? They haven't really got that sort of player. I know Martinelli last season looks better than the season before. Cool. But, I think Noni's a little bit different, man. I think Noni's I would probably say is slightly better. I think he's probably got maybe he's got a little bit of a higher ceiling, I would probably say.
Than who?
Than Martinelli. Slightly. They're about the same. They're about the same right now, man. They're both frustrating. Very frustrating players, both of them.
Well, they're about
to. I don't think he's ever going to have his G&A though, because Martinelli at least that one season. There was a season where he had like 16 or 17 Premier League goals.
That was the first year they competed. That's the first year they competed, bro.
Yeah, and the issue is he fell off from that.
The main task here that Arteta needs to develop Noni with is his decision making, bro. Like just thinking quicker, shooting quicker, passing quicker. These are things that he needs to add to his game, man. And again, IQ is not something that you can really teach. It's like someone right now that's smart in school. Like some people just naturally have it. Noni doesn't naturally have that IQ. That's where Arteta's gonna have to drill it into him, and this way he's gonna have to earn his money because he is the guy that wanted him. He has pushed for this move. You know what I'm saying? He pushed for the move, bro. So he has to make sure he develops him, man. If you're seeing Noni, he can't score more than 10 goals in the Prem and he's playing a lot of games again, then he hasn't progressed. This season, he better score more than 10 goals because he scored 11.
Yeah.
Logic he starts on the left, though.
Well, that's what I was about to ask, because according to Ben Jacobs, the personal stuff with Eze is done, and they're going to advance on that deal, and they're going to progress it. And we can kind of talk on that and how good it looks. But Ben's adamant that the sources are saying this is an attacking midfield option in Eze. He will cover, it will cover in times, but they're saying it's an attacking midfield option, which means they're either going to do that and then go for a Rodrigo or a Gordon or someone like this, or that's it. So and if that's it, if they don't buy anyone else for the wing, they've already said that Madueke is going to play. Charles Watt said Madueke is going to play a lot of football matches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see them bringing Rodrigo unless they sell Martinelli. I just don't see it, Terry. Right? I don't see a world where Arteta's like begged for this guy and said, "Yeah, you're just going to be backup for Saka." No, I think it's told him, "Yo, I think you can be even better on the left, or I think you can even put up numbers on the left. I think you can play on both sides," and that's why Noni's left. Because when he's looking at Chelsea, he's going to get less minutes at Chelsea because he's like third choice, fourth choice. You know what I'm saying? So they've got a task on their hands right now, isn't it? Because like I said, for me, it's one of the best. I still believe he's one of the best in the league at taking on their man. I'm not going to change my take on that. But in terms of if it was productivity, like Staffy said, he needs to improve it. He needs to improve it, man.
Absolutely. They're about to get Gyökeres. That deal is going to come through soon. The Eze deal for me, I think it'd be a massive fumble if they don't get it over the line. It's still looking pretty good for Arsenal, though. Although it feels like every couple of days their fans are in meltdown. Then they get like a deal in principle for Gyökeres. Yeah, this is amazing. It's not been announced. They're going crazy. They feel very volatile at the minute. But stuff like Eze and Gyökeres being added to this squad with Mendy, they've improved, right?
On paper, yeah. I just don't see how you play all these players together. Because now, if Eze is in the midfield, can you tell me what their midfield is? I generally don't know, by the way, before people start crying, because this is the section where everyone starts crying. Is this the section where I start getting attacked? Yeah. I already know. Get ready.
There's a question that you asked Terry the other day.
Get ready for the chat rate to go up, by the way.
Now, Terry, there's a question that you asked Terry the other day as well in the group. I think you should ask him, to be honest. You asked him about midfield. You asked him if a certain midfield is better than a certain midfield, bro. Remember that one?
You really want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, you can ask him again.
I think it's evidential. Like, I don't think we need to even talk about that anymore. Chelsea's midfield is better.
Ask him. Terry, do you think Arsenal's is better?
I'm not changing my mind just yet, no. Hang on, but I'll explain it, because I don't just give superlatives and hyperbolic sentences and then not want to explain it. I actually like being questioned about my logic more so than what I've said, because I think the logic is where it is. Chelsea's midfield is amazing. Let me just start by saying that. I've done nothing but praise them for the last couple of weeks. The team, the progression, you've matured. There is a chance this year, a real good chance, that I'm convinced it's better. I think it's amazing, but I actually think Arsenal's is very good as well. I really, really do. And I think adding Zubimendi...
You just said Eze's going to start.
Hang on. Well, I base it on what I've witnessed and seen. Now, if what I've seen in the last 8 to 9 weeks, so the back end of the Premier League season and in the Club World Cup, if that... And listen, João Pedro came in and scored those goals. Palmer was brilliant in the final. But the reason you got to the final was Enzo and more so Caicedo over the course of that tournament, barring the one game where the counter-attack just did you, barring that one game, which ended up being inconsequential, those two were they were your linchpins. They were the most important part. And generally, yes, you might have teams that had Messi and Ronaldo in, but look at the fucking midfields they have. The teams that win things consistently, the teams that finish higher in the league, generally have better midfields than the teams they're finishing ahead of, as a typical rule for me. You're in that 8-week period, those guys have matured, they've clicked, and they've become amazing. If they do that over the course of the 38-game season, and Arsenal's doesn't improve with the signings they've made, I think you can finish ahead of them. I look at your strike forces, and I think with what they're buying, what you're buying, very, very similar to each other. Defensively, yes, their goalkeeper and their defenders, I would still say, are better than yours, and that plays a part, but not in terms of dominating the ball, pinning a team back. How easy is it to penetrate and create chances? As an example, your midfields are very close to each other. I'm not changing my mind yet, but I'm open-minded to it. Because your midfield is amazing.
It ain't no 9 weeks either. Because I've been telling you what Enzo's been on all season. I've been telling you what Caicedo's been on all season. I've been telling you what Palmer was on start of the season. And even when he fell off in front of goal, he was still creating a lot of chances. Yeah. I was showing you who's progressed the ball the most in the midfield all season. Yeah, so let's not act as if it's just it's been the last 3 months and that. It's been the whole season.
Statistically, Don, you've done some. By the way, one of the best midfields in the Premier League all season. I'm not denying that. But what we're doing here, and I think is really important for this premise, is we are nitpicking between two very good midfields. We know they're two very good midfields because Arsenal didn't even have a great year last year, and they were still Champions League semi-finalists and second in the Premier League. Yes, that isn't a trophy, but I don't think you have massively crap departments of a team.
Yeah, but bro, I've already told you this before, though. Villa finished below them, and for me, Villa have got a better midfield.
I disagree. I disagree.
Hold on, Newcastle finished below them, and Newcastle have got a better midfield than them, right? Liverpool finished. Hold on, Liverpool won the league, and Arsenal have got a better defense. So just because you finish above someone doesn't mean that a certain area is better.
I disagree to a certain extent. The thing is with what's their names? Newcastle, as you pointed out, they had a period in the season. I might get the dates slightly wrong here because this is just off the cuff we're talking. From around November till about March, where they were just untouchable, if we remember correctly, where the midfield dominated every game, but they weren't doing that in games earlier on in the season. Now, some of that was selection issues. Players weren't being played and Tonali wasn't in the team and these things happen. But look, Arsenal had players injured and they missed games and things happen, right? This is how football works. Managers make mistakes as well. But over the course of the season, I saw Newcastle get battered at home by teams. They're not always perfect. The thing is we'll see a really good game. Go, oh, look how good that midfield is, man. But are you watching it week in, week out, every week? No. Arsenal's midfield is fantastic. Is a very, very, very good midfield over the last 3 years.
I think what you're doing, Terry. Listen, at the end of the day, people need to comprehend something. People need to comprehend something. Yeah?
But you can't comprehend when you don't ever let me finish. I've actually not been able to actually finish my point 3 times, and then you tell me what's wrong with my point, but you haven't heard it all. I am nitpicking here between very good midfields, and I think the problem that people have is that everything's bad shit, good. Brilliant crap. No, for me, both very, very good indeed. But I'm judging it over a period of time. And yes, you had moments like when you said Palmer killing at the beginning of the season. Palmer had a terrible second half of the season. He's part of your midfield.
In front of goal, not in terms of chance creation.
But that's an important part of his job as an attacking midfield player. And I'm not going
great chances too.
Yes, and I didn't criticize him for that, but that's an important part of his game, and it was off, right? We all criticize the lack of goals from Odegaard. I'm going to criticize a better player for having a lack of goals as well. That would be disingenuous to not do that. But for me, like I've said, if what I saw, and I'm talking about I saw in that last 6 games and what I saw in the Club World Cup was a different level to what I saw the entirety of last season from Chelsea. You went up a gear. If that level maintains, and Arsenal don't improve with these new guys that's coming in a year's time, I can very, very conceivably see myself saying that Chelsea's is now better. But over the last 3 years, I'm not backing down on what I said 5 weeks ago because that was then. Things can change moving forward, and I'm malleable in that way because if you're not, I think you're a bit of a mug, really, if you never want to change your mind.
I'll be real. I don't think Arsenal's midfield was great last year, and the reason, and it's no surprise to me that they're progressing the ball at the same rate as West Ham. You know what I mean? West Ham have got 0 midfield. Man United fucking progressing the ball through the midfield at the same rate as Man United, bro. Yeah.
When you say, hang on, let me ask you a question. When you say progressing the ball, what do you mean by that? Like visually, how would that look when I watch it? What would that look like?
I'm talking about passes. I'm talking about chances created. I'm talking about, bro, driving through the middle. You know what I'm saying? All of these things, bro. They were bottom tier. They were bottom tier for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So end of the day, when it comes to judging them as individuals, I think Rice is a very good player. I think Odegaard at his best is a very good player, right? Zubimendi, you're bringing him in, I think is a good player as well. But like I keep telling you, Terry, it's the way that midfield is set up. It's imbalanced. That's the problem here. And that's the thing that you fail to understand. Because I am not playing Declan Rice in an 8, in an advanced position over Palmer or an Enzo. I'm not playing Odegaard ahead of Palmer. Right, and Caicedo, you already know Caicedo walks into basically any team. You know what I'm saying, bro? So end of the day, listen, you can think that. That's your take, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna, try to fight for you to change your take. I'm just saying that I think it's a bit mad that you're still saying them, in all honesty, because when you just look at the eye test and you go look at all the underlying metrics, you can clearly see that we're better than these guys, especially through the middle, bro. Right? The fluidity in Chelsea's team is mad. It's mad, bro. But it
wasn't. But again, the thing is, but it wasn't. And I know some of the games you missed chances, but it wasn't between Christmas time and the end of March. You had a 3-month period where it completely felt the whole team. You were leaking opportunities. You were dominating for like the first half. The second half were awful, and your midfield was part of that, right? Now, listen. What you'll say is
the issue was our attack.
I disagree. Listen, your attack not finishing chances cost you certain games, but you had loads of large parts of matches where you were open, where you were countered on easy, where you suddenly stopped dominating the game. I watched these football matches and I sat on here with Chelsea fans losing their mind at your overall team. Now, I'm not saying that makes Caicedo a bad player. This is why it's, again, and individually you can get stats and go, they're better. And I did some work a little while ago on Data Mob, which I know Data MB that you use, and actually took Man United midfielders last year and compared them to your midfielders. And on some of those spiders, some of our midfielders were better. And I think you beat us on 2 marginally and we beat you on 1. But as a collective, our midfield's nowhere near as good as you. But statistically, as individuals, you could sit there and make an argument for it not being as bad. I judge it when I'm judging the midfield. I don't really care about the stats to a certain degree. For instance, we know that Saliba and Gabriel over the last 3 years have been the best. We will agree the best centre-back pairing in the league.
Bro, they've got the best defense in the league. But they what
right. But we would agree. But you can hang on. But you can go and look at stats now and find a defender. Oh, he's made more interceptions and he made more tackles and he does this better. But we know by watching those two as a collective together for the last 2 to 3 seasons, we would objectively just sit there and say, stats all aside, that as a collective has been better. And that's with Ramsdale in goal. That's been with Raya in goal. When I look at Arsenal, as I've said, I'm judging it over a period of time. Chelsea's growth is doing this, and it's catched them or it's caught them or gone past them in some people's minds. And you've got a very good chance of doing it. But for me, I want to see how it operates in title races. I want to see how it holds up next season. And again, this is a factor that we have to throw in. What we haven't seen your team do yet, and I think you'll handle it fine, by the way, is playing 2 games a week, Champions League, Premier League. What we saw you guys do last week, and you had a 3-month period where you could barely win a game, is you were playing a reserve team midweek for Europe, and then your main team at the weekend, playing 2 hard games a week for the majority of a season. We all know it's harder. And we've all said for years it's a harder thing to do. There's all these things to factor in.
I think you overrate Arsenal's midfield, bro. I've named a couple of teams that I think have better midfield than theirs, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I would even put theirs in the top 5. I'll be real. the way it's set up like that, nah, bro. No, Declan Rice in the 8. Miss me with that bullshit, bro.
Well, and that's last year. But now what they're doing is they're adding Zubimendi to it, and they're looking like they're adding Eze. And to the point that Staffy got into, and I think we'll go to this now because you and I will just agree to disagree if we can keep going in circles. I look at that when you say you don't know how they're going to play all these players, Staffy. What do you mean by that?
So I don't see Eze coming into this team and playing down the middle. I know a lot of people want him to do that. There's a lot of people that are fed up with Odegaard, so they want him to start over Odegaard. I don't see a scenario where, number one, your captain just gets benched going into the season. So that's a factor. Secondly, I think Eze is better off being a creator off the left. I think you lack creativity off the left due to Martinelli just not really being a creative player. He's just more of a touchline winger. He does well off the ball, tracks back and all that stuff. But I don't think they have a lot of creativity. If you're going to bring in Gyökeres, I think you're better off playing Eze on the left. I do see a scenario where if Arsenal play a midfield which is the default right now, Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard, and then you put Eze as a left where he just drives into central areas, be a little bit of a creator. He can actually form a little bit of a box midfield where him and Odegaard can be 2 10s while one of the fullbacks kind of like goes up a little bit or whatever. And then you got Gyökeres making his runs that he likes to make off the left-hand side or in central areas. And then obviously Saka doing his thing. To me, that just makes more sense than starting as in a central area. Because if you start in a central area, what does that mean? It means Madueke starts, he plays on the left, and then it means who's getting benched from your midfield. Zubimendi, Rice, or Odegaard. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'd go with the first way I'd line them up. If you do that, now it's up to Arteta to get the best out of them. If he does or not, that's different. I think it's a little bit of a prediction where I think he might actually struggle this year. With all these signings that he's made, and he kind of runs out of excuses when he signed top players like Gyökeres and Eze. But if he does find a way to get him click, I think that's the midfield and the front line that you got to go with. I don't see a way where you just put Eze in the attacking midfield. Like, I think, who'd you say said that? Was it Ben Jacobs or who said that?
Ben Jacobs said he's part of the attacking midfield. He's an attacking midfield option. Yeah.
I don't see that. If he does something where like Chelsea do this, where they have Palmer and Enzo end up being like 2 10s, but one of them actually starts off the right. So Palmer starts off the right, but then he plays in central areas next to Enzo. And then they get Gusto as an example, who'll play like a right wing. You can do that but with what's his name? Eze and Odegaard. You get them to operate in central areas. You got Rice and Zubamendi behind them. And then either have the left back or the right back just play higher up the pitch. That's the only scenario I see it happening. I don't know what Arteta's going to do.
If you want to tuck in Eze to create that box, very similar to what we do and like Aston Villa do that.
Which I think that's his best ability.
You're going to have to overlap Skelly on that side. He doesn't do that, right? So he's going to have to change that because you need width on that side. If you invert Eze and you keep Skelly back, there's no one there that's keeping the width, right? You know what I'm saying? You need a player that's going to take that player away from Eze. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like I said, my biggest issue for them, Terry, just watching them is just how that midfield set up. I don't think Arteta's setting it up the best way that he can. You know, I speak to a lot of Arsenal fans who are like, bro, I agree with you. Like, I would rather we play a double pivot with a 10. You know, I'd rather play what Staffy's saying there as well. That's a smart way of going about things. But the way it is right now, nah, man, it's not it. I think the midfield is imbalanced like that, bro. I'll be real.
If he sets them up in that box midfield we mentioned, I think that's the best way to do it. You get everything. You get the physicality and the box crashing from Rice. You get the build-up play and the half turns from Zubamendi. You got Odegaard controlling in the midfield. You get Eze being a little bit of a creative spark in the final third, turning onto his right, going into central areas. And then you give the freedom to Gyökeres to kind of operate in the wide areas. I don't know how. The only thing I know is, this is why I keep saying I don't know. All I know is you're not going to drop certain players that you're just signing right now and they just operate in this scene, because Gyökeres doesn't play traditionally like Havertz does. Eze doesn't play traditionally how Martinelli does. There has to be a lot of tweaks in the system when you drop these players in. I think David said it on one of the top 6 shows a couple of weeks ago, and I completely agreed with him when he mentioned Gyökeres. They don't stylistically play like the old players, which is why, yes, these are good signings, but now you're going to look at your manager, because I think if the manager doesn't make the right adjustments, these are just good players that are being wasted. Which is why I keep saying I don't think, and I have no problem at the end of the season if I'm proven wrong to say, you know what, fair enough, Arteta proved that he can actually coach that. I don't think he'll take that next level in his coaching. I think these signings, because they're so good, they're going to be the reason that he gets sacked, because he's not going to be able to take the team to the next level.
I hope he keeps that midfield like that, bro. I hope he does. I hope he does, bro. You know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of...
I'm just saying, that's my prediction.
I hope he does. I hope he does,
These
bro.
are good
Because
players.
there's a bunch of deluded guys that are in the chat, that think that we don't watch football and we can't give our take on stuff. We should just follow what Arteta does like a sheep. You know what I'm saying? You guys ain't no men. You know, you just listen to another man and you follow what that man does instead of having a brain for yourself, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some of us have been watching football and played football for a long time, so we'll know what we're saying, bro. You know what I'm saying? I watch other teams and see how they progress the ball through the middle, and I watch you, man. I have to prepare myself to watch your games. Yeah?
I've got some stats for you. Are there any stats in the eye tested difference? So let's look at some of these stats, okay? So this is Partey versus Caicedo last season. So if you look at it here, Caicedo's in yellow, so slightly more key passes, but progressive passes similar. Caicedo outdoes him on the duels. Definitely outdoes him massively on possession 1. On ball carrying, Partey's better. Forward passes, Partey's better. And about the same when it comes to forward passing accuracy. We then move to Palmer and Odegaard. Now, Palmer, key passes better. Duels better. But progressive passes, forward passing accuracy, forward passes in total, ball carrying the same, much better. Neither player great on possession winning because of where they play. But Odegaard, you can clearly see winning that there, statistically speaking. And then when it comes to Rice and Enzo, again, the key passes, as we thought, and progressive passes, better for Enzo, but forward passing accuracy, better for Rice. Forward passes in totality, slightly better for Enzo. 2 of the 3, though, now for Chelsea have carried the ball more than Chelsea. And at possession 1, Enzo slightly does that. Jules, very, very similar indeed. So statistically speaking, not too much difference. For me, that kind of matches how I view things. I don't, like I've said, I don't see a lot of difference. I'm just going with the collective. I think the midfield is the engine room of a team, the most important part of a team. And over the last 2 to 3 seasons, I still have Arsenal slightly ahead of Chelsea's. But
Chelsea's just to finish off. Palmer or Odegaard?
I'd pick Palmer. I think Palmer's better, yes.
Enzo or Rice?
Rice.
You'd rather Rice in the attacking midfielder position?
No, I'd rather Rice in his position. I'd rather Rice be a box-to-box.
But we're going off of the system that he's playing. The system that he plays.
Yeah, and Rice goes up and down the pitch.
Yeah, but most of the time he's in that left half pocket, bro. That little space.
Okay, but he goes up and down. He goes up and down the pitch.
He plays as an 8 for Arsenal. So Rice is an 8 or Enzo is an 8, please.
Okay, as an 8, are they box to box or attacking midfield?
Box to box, broski. Yeah,
I'm picking Declan Rice. Yes,
bro. Enzo puts in the shift off the ball and on the ball. Bro,
I like Enzo. Very good. I'm going with Palmer. I'm going with Rice. I'm going with Palmer. I'm going with Rice, and I'm going with Caicedo. Okay, so I would still pick 2 of your 3 over there. If Thomas Partey was younger and didn't have what's hanging around his neck, we might be having a different conversation, because let's not deny that Palmer wasn't. Partey hasn't been an amazing midfielder for the majority of his career. I'm going with that. But like I've said, you may have. I'd pick 2 of yours over. Well, Partey's gone now. I'd pick 2 of yours over one of theirs. But it's how things work. It's how things work in unison, because the late great Sir Alf Ramsey. You both know who Sir Alf Ramsey is, right?
I don't know.
Educate me. He was the England manager.
No, he lives there. So.
Well, he should know. He's the England manager that won the fucking World Cup, right? Sir Alf Ramsey.
Yeah, I feel like I should have known that too.
Yeah. Well, you're not English, and it's an English thing, but yeah.
I know a little bit.
Sir Alf Ramsey, his most famous quote was, "You never pick your best players, you pick the best team." And Chelsea.
Yeah, see, I should have known that, because I know that quote.
And we know that, by the way, on paper. You go back, rewind 12 months ago, rewind 18 months ago. If I said to you, what front 3 are you picking? Doué, Dembele, and Kvaratskhelia, or Messi, Mbappe, Neymar? How many people are not picking Messi, Neymar, and fucking Mbappe? You're probably looking at 90%.
Changes quick, I'll be honest.
No, it does, but that's also part of it. Like I've said, my mind will change, but you pick your best team. Chelsea, like I've said, fantastic midfield. Growing in the right direction, amazing. Not slagging them off one bit. Could surpass Arsenal this year, but as of now, it's there. Statistically, they're very close. Eye test, they're very close. Both teams last season in the league, very close. I don't think there's clear blue water in either direction, in my personal opinion.
Anyway, let's talk about a team that actually wins trophies. You know what I'm saying? Because my club,
you're better at them. Yes,
has actually won 3 trophies since a certain loud, deluded bunch won anything. You know what I'm saying? The last time they won anything with any fans in a stadium was back in 2018 and that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids, bro, they're about to go into secondary school, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. But anyway, I told people about what Maresca was gonna do when we hired this guy. Man are trying to call me delusional. Man are trying to call me names. Man are trying to call me, you don't know what you're talking about. You think you're a coach. You think you're this. There's no way he's better than Poch. He's a championship manager. I told all of you guys, this guy knows what he's doing, and he's gonna do the exact same thing at Chelsea. He's gonna get us top 4. That's exactly what he did. You know what I'm saying? In his first year, man's won more trophies than a certain guy that's over there, bro. CEX boys, like I call them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And next year, bro, he's gonna fucking challenge. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm gonna say, bro, these men need to make sure that they win the Prem before me. Yeah. Make sure they win the Prem before me. I've completed football twice, bro. Yeah. This is the 2nd Club World Cup that I've won. Yeah. The 1st club to win it in this new format and that. You know what I mean? And Terry, you were asking me earlier about, what's the expectation for next season? You think I run away from expectations? I expect us to compete as a bare minimum. Yeah. I expect us to win at least 1 trophy domestically. I want to be back at Wembley again. Right. I was not happy with how we went to Wembley 2 years ago. Obviously, we lost in the final against Liverpool. And we lost to Man City in the semi-final. But last season, it was a joke thing. We got knocked out early by Brighton, got knocked out early by Newcastle. We need to make sure that we're back at Wembley again, bro, in either the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, or even both of them. Yeah. At Champions League, you need to go deep in that competition. You need to make sure that you're getting to at least even the semi-finals. You know what I mean? Because, bro, our midfield, again, you're talking about the depth. You got Santos there, you got Sugo there. You already know about Caicedo, Enzo, Palmer, these guys. I think we're going to bring in a new centre-back to play next to Colwell. I think we'll probably still bring in a new goalkeeper, as well as Sanchez has been doing. Left wing, you never know, bro. We might put our hat in the, our name in the hat for Rodrigo, because we've got a lot of money coming in right now. You know what I mean? And right now, I'm seeing Xavi Simons is another one that we're linked to as well. Rodgers, another one. So there's still a few more attackers that we're going to bring in, because there's more players that are gonna get sold, innit?
Why don't you never talk about coming back for Garnacho? You made enough money. You're about to sell Jackson.
Nah. That ain't happening.
Well, I was about to say the whole Jackson chat that made me laugh. I didn't say anything because I wanted to move on. Is in most of the credible stories that have done the link, they straight away go, and if that happens, there's also a big chance that there would be a conversation about Garnacho as well. So Yeah, that's the funny part. But let me ask you a question. A lot of chest there, and I get it. You've got a better midfield than Arsenal. You speak about trophies, which you have won, and you mentioned João Pedro. And by the way, I agree with you. I think Arsenal would have maybe won some trophies in the last season or two if they had better strikers. I think everybody agreed with that last season. So after all that being said, you're going to challenge. Are you going to finish? And you've said you've agreed with Staffy, the players that Arsenal are signing will get Arteta sacked. That all being said,
I said maybe.
He said that.
You were like facts. You agreed with him, right? So all that being said, Don, are you finishing above Arsenal next season?
Broski, how many times do I have to tell you end of the window is when I predict? How many times? You're not gonna get out of me right now, Terry. I'm so sorry. And the thing is, these Arsenal fans, they love to ask this question like it's
okay, as of right now, as your teams as of today.
Staffy, bro. You know what's so weird, yeah? You like to ask me.
No, man, I'm not gonna lie. Even I can't agree with this.
We finished above you. Is that a fucking trophy, bro? You are not the benchmark. I keep telling these guys they are not the benchmark. Yeah, you finished above me, and I still won a trophy. I won 2 trophies, in fact. And we ended up in Champions League. And on top of that, I'm in pot 1. You got demoted to pot 2. We're not the same. Yeah, we're not the same, bro. Yeah?
No, that's not the conversation, bro. Come on.
This question about are you going to finish above Arsenal, it is so irrelevant to me, right? And let's ask
put your balls on the table, bro.
Don't ask me this stupid question, bro.
No, I'm going to keep asking it. You can't sit there. By the way, if I came on here and was ripping into a team in my lane, if I was ripping into Bournemouth, right, one of my rivals next year, right, if I'm ripping into them, giving it the big one, and then someone says, will you finish it don't feel right. Imagine a boxer. You know, you've got a big boxing fight tomorrow night. You've got Dubois versus Usyk. Imagine Dubois sitting there going, he's got a bad, he hasn't said this, he's got a bad jab, his footwork ain't good, he ain't got my power, he ain't got my speed, he ain't got my chin. Do you think you're going to win? I don't know. It wouldn't, you can't.
I never said I don't know. Listen, don't worry about what's up here. I know what's up here. Yeah,
you don't want to say it. You don't want to say it. Why don't you want to say it? What's your reason for holding it in? What's your reason for holding it in? Come on, Don Skeeto.
Let it marinate, bro. You know what I mean? Let it marinate. You know what I'm saying? All I keep telling you, man, is I don't respect these, man. Yeah? I don't respect these newbie Arsenal fans, bro. All you've got is FA Cups to bring to my face. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah? Dan Potts and these sort of guys, they're the guys that I respect because they've actually seen their club winning. All these little mutants in the chat, I laugh at these guys, bro. Yeah? They keep trying to call me delusional, but I keep coming back cooking, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah? How many things have I been right about this season, bro? I done said from like October, November, Liverpool are walking this league, bro. Because these men are meaty. You know what I'm saying? I said Maresca's going to get top 4. Did he not get it? You know what I mean? Don't try to come to me about delusional, bro. It's these men that are fucking delusional because they can't accept that this ain't the same Chelsea team that finished 12th. You know what I mean? You'd rather say all that. Hold on, Staffy. You can ask me as much as you want. Hey, we're going to finish above you. We're going to finish above you. Finished above you. What has that won you, big man? Huh?
But that isn't the conversation, Don, because you're calling them out. You're calling them out for saying they're meaty. Ironically, they had a meaty season, but they finished ahead of you in the league.
Yeah. But we had meaty finishing. And I've come in here and I've told you that.
It's just fine. It's just great. It's all the big one, and then the bravado just. Hey. You need one of them Newman's tablets. You need a Newman's tablet. As soon as he's got to answer a question.
Hey, all I'm saying is, listen, there's certain clubs where I like their style of play. They ain't one of them. Yeah. Now it's on Arteta to go change that. Go bring Eze. Go bring Rodrigo. Change up the dynamic in the midfield, and I'll be bigging up your team like what I was doing when you first competed.
Wait, are you scared? Hold on. I think I might have clocked it. Are you worried that they might get with Gyökeres and Eze, they might get Rodrigo, and that's why you don't want to make a prediction?
No, bro. Listen, I already told you, bro. I'm not scared of these guys. Yeah, I'm not scared of anyone.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't understand why you can't say you'll finish it.
Why are you gonna tell me I'm scared of these guys? Who are these guys?
I'll tell you what it is.
I'll tell you what it is. There's enough evidence for you to say that. You finished 5 points ahead of them. Hold on. You finished 5 points behind them, last season. You strengthened in the summer. You like your signings more than them. You actually progressed as a team on the pitch. You got a confidence boost from beating PSG and winning the Club World Cup.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, after all that, if you can't say you can't finish ahead of them.
No. We can finish ahead of them. But in terms of defining...
No, you can't say it.
Will we?
I know you can, but you can't say it.
people will try to take things out of context because the window's not even shut.
There's no context.
We don't know what they're gonna do next week. We don't know what.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Let me rephrase. Right, and KJ can clip it up with this in there. So we know things can change in the transfer window, but based on what we think Arsenal will do and what we think Chelsea will do, because we will have track records, okay? Mm-hmm. We will have track records. You've just said that United always do bad deals from a business standpoint. It's continued so far this summer. So based on what you think Arsenal are going to do, you've said they're not going to get Rodrigo. You think they're going to play Madueke. We all think they're going to get Eze and Gyökeres. Based on everything you think will happen, you must be confident you're going to finish above them at least.
Broski, they've got Berta now. You know that? They've got Berta now, yeah? And we're learning things about Berta. I was listening to you earlier. I was working, Terry, with Ben Jacobs, and what he was saying about Berta and how he's a serious guy. He's more serious than Edu. So I'm not going to sit here and just delude myself into thinking that they can't go and bring in serious players and all of a sudden the dynamics change. I'm one of the guys that told you, bro, if they bring in the right personnel into that team, Morgan, Gibbs, White, the Ezes and that can change the dynamic of their attack, right? Arsenal can improve 110%. And that's why I keep telling you, end of the window, I will predict. But if you ask me, can you finish above Arsenal? I'll tell you, yes, we can. Of course, we can finish above Arsenal.
And that's fair. It's just the way you've spoke about them up until that point. What you didn't say,
because it rattles them. Bro.
You don't mean it. Then it's just for rattling. Okay, because that makes more sense. Because you're sitting there a minute ago saying, doesn't matter who they sign, the manager isn't going to do a good job because he can't handle it. You're agreeing with what Staffy said.
I never said that.
You agree. Listen, if Staffy says right, Mateta's a bad finisher, and I go speaking facts, bro. Just because I haven't said the words doesn't mean I don't agree with it and endorse it. Come on, we are not here. I know, look, we're both from East London. We know how East Londoners work. If I didn't actually say it, I didn't do it. We ain't living in that world anymore, bro. We're grown men. Like, you're winding them up. That's fair. I'll just dig in a little bit deeper doing my job. So there you go, Arsenal fans. Remember, Don doesn't think you're as bad as he thinks, and he thinks Berta might make you a better team. Oh, there we go. That's the truth.
The crazy part of it is, yeah. When I'm watching them, I'm like literally saying, okay, there's certain areas that you can improve. They don't like to hear it, bro. It's like, how dare you talk about our midfield? How dare you talk about Arteta? How dare you talk about this? You don't fucking watch us, broski. We're all football fans, yeah. I don't need to be an Arsenal fan to talk about your team. You know what I'm saying? I watch your team week in, week out.
This year, let's go to some of these super chats here. Let's go.
This is the whole monologue you gave us. All that, and you couldn't predict it. You're finished.
No,
you guys can't get me. I've been doing this for a minute now.
No one's trying to get you. You, and like many other YouTubers, no one's trying to get you. I say this to people all the time. I question to understand. No one's trying to get you. There's no got you moment. It's just, if I don't understand what you mean or I want to dig deeper, I'm going to ask. And I'm going to then, I was saying it to Ches earlier. Ches was saying how bad a deal we've done for Mbeumo. So I used a benchmark. I said, is it better or worse than £88 million on Mudryk? That's irrelevant. It isn't irrelevant. I'm trying to gauge, because I know how bad a deal he thinks that was. I'm trying to gauge how, because he wouldn't go into specifics. I was going, so do you think it'll flop? Not at that price. What is flopping? I don't know. It's like, well, you're not really giving me saying so, just go in, someone will flop. It's so basic. It's like, well, let's delve into how bad you think they'll flop, because he might go. You'll only score 15.
Explain why I think someone's going to flop.
No, I hear you. This is what podcasts are about, and I think one of the things that's killing the football fan content industry. Every podcast is sounding the same. Is I watched one the other day. Wasn't with any of you boys on. Our was on. I listened to the whole thing. I did a bit of scouting to see what it's about, and I didn't hear a single explanation for a single opinion. It was, I think Arsenal's midfield is better than Chelsea. You're delusional, mad for 10 minutes. Not once did anyone go, why? Can you break it down? Now, you don't need to agree with each other. I sat there going, no one's explaining anything. And I'm like, that's a podcast. TV is for one-liners. Paul Merson, I think that's a bad signing. I don't think he's up to standard. Great. We cut to Cammy at a ground. That's TV. Online podcasts are meant to be, I think my manager's crap. Oh, really? Why do you think he's bad? This is what you get now on socials. Why are you asking me that for? What do you think's bad about the manager? Why would you want to ask me that question? People are scared to give solutions as well, because you lose faith. I'm not saying you do this one, Don. People get scared to give solutions. Do you know why? Because people are scared of the reaction. You might go, I don't know, get rid of Bruno. Everyone goes, yeah, I agree. You get a big group of people that agree with you. Who do you think should replace him? You get a lot of, that ain't for me to tell you. Do you know why they bottle it? because they're scared that the replacement they suggest is going to lose them the support of the people that have just cheered because they might say a media player. And we're killing the industry doing that, people. I'll tell you anyway.
Terry, listen, you've known me long enough to know, I'm not scared to speak my mind. But at the end of the day, the irony of it is,
you get scared to give predictions.
I'm not going to delude myself, right, into predicting something right now when we're basically going to be fighting for the same thing. That's number one.
But you can change your mind. You can change your mind on a show, innit? You can say, I've changed my mind.
Wait, hold on, Don. Can I say something to you? If you make a prediction and then for some reason the next few weeks they just make like 3 world-class signings that no one saw coming, then I'll be like, you know what? There's a lot of context that's changed since you made the prediction. Equally, if you go into the season with the same teams that you have right now, and then like I don't know, like Caicedo's out for 5 months. Like, let's be honest. I'm not gonna hold you accountable to that same prediction because I know now one of the best DMs, if not the best DM in the league, now has been gone. These things, I'm not gonna lie. Like, unless you're a toaster person, like Terry likes to say, I probably won't really look at it the same way. You are, however, I'm sorry, bro. You're my friend, but I will tell you this: you do get scared to give predictions. I don't know why, but you do get scared to give predictions.
Okay. How often was I coming on here last season, saying, we're winning this game, we're winning this game, we're winning this game. I was literally collecting something. It is the same thing.
No, Don, what you say, bro? No, Don, what you say is, you're a liar. This is what you do, Don. This is what you say. Staffy, you the judge it. This is what Don does. Do you think you can win the game at the weekend, Staffy? He goes, I really do think we're capable of winning it. That's what he says. We really could do it. I think we've got a good chance of doing it.
Sets us up well. If the manager sets us up correctly, you guys in positions are going to win. No shit, genius.
You lot are shit. We always give predictions about the score. We always say, what do you think the score is going to be? I'm pretty sure I predicted 2-1 Chelsea against PSG. I predicted we'd win. And once again, guys are trying to call me deluded. I said, we've got every chance of winning. What did I tell you? I said, we need to bully them off the park. What happened? We bullied them off the park.
Yeah, fair enough. You gave a scenario that happened. That's fine.
You know what I'm saying?
There's no problem with you saying that.
Yeah.
But you do
if you're Roms right now, if I'm a Liverpool fan right now, I can comfortably say, I do think we'll finish above Arsenal. Right? I do think we'll finish above them. But right now, I still think there's a few little bits that I want my club to do, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm staying humble. Let me be humble,
Don and humble. Don and humble. Fuck me.
Gary asked me last week where I think we finish next season. I said we can sign Mbeumo, and I still think we're a mid-table team. That is a prediction, bro.
Well, Staffy, let me tell you something. You see how you said, You see how you said you're going to take it into account if something happens because there's context in that, right? One thing
I still think we're a mid-table team.
All these little minions, and all these little mutants.
Focus on them. Who cares?
No, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck, bro. Because there's too many liars on this team. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna give you the power to lie on my name. Yeah. So you're gonna have to wait until
who lies on your names?
Yeah,
they wind you up. It's pantomime, Don. Like, honestly, I will say this, right? If you turn around now and said, I think Chelsea finish above Arsenal, and then in 3 weeks' time you said, look, Arsenal have gone and done a madness, I'm predicting Arsenal to finish above us. Of course, there are going to be some people, right? Some trolls that go, look at this little snippet and this clip from you, right? I've got guys that do it to me. I've got guys that pull things out, opinions. I've openly admitted, for instance, 3 years ago, I was wrong to suggest that Arteta should have been sacked when he started challenging for the league. People clip up videos from me from 5 years ago where I said I think Arsenal should be sacking him because I can't see him turning it round. And they would be saying Arsenal were right for not sacking him. Oh, he's a hypocrite. Yeah, only idiots would believe that's true. And for me, I don't waste any energy about what idiots think about me because on a real, it doesn't damage your life. It doesn't damage your credibility online. People won't unfollow you. People won't think you're bad at what you do. I think skirting around the answer, I think people like a direct answer on these things.
Listen, my answer's right here. Yeah, my answer's right here. And listen,
so you have something that you believe in and you don't want to say it. You prove me right.
So you're not open-minded. You're just too scared to say it.
Bro, listen, I already told you, I'm not giving certain man power to try to do anything, bro. You know what I'm saying?
What power?
I think Don thinks people are gonna go. They're gonna bring the clip.
What power?
They're gonna go to his house and they're gonna show his mom. Like, look at your son
moving around like
this. And they're gonna play the clip to her. Who gives a fuck, bro? Just say it.
What power?
Who gives a fuck?
That's Saka does.
John, genuine question. What power? Who would have Don? Who would have power over you?
Huh? They won't have power over me, bro. But bro, listen, I'm done with that, innit? You wanna try lie on my name? Nah, you know, I'm not letting you lie on my name.
Who's gonna lie on your name?
Wait, no, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about.
Ooh,
You can see the mutants, you can see the mutants, you can see the minions are everywhere, bro.
God, here we go
Don't give these minions the power. Take the power away from the minions. I'm trying to teach the man them. Yeah.
Hang on.
Don't let these guys lie on your name.
This is the irony, though. After you just sat there and said you said a lot of things horrible about Arsenal to wind them up. The irony, man. The irony is deep here.
Hey, I'm a troll. That's what I'm saying, though. Terry, I'm a troll, bro. You know what I mean?
Real recognizes real, yeah? That's what it is here.
One thing I will say, yeah?
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Bro, you're finished, Wallah.
We are the biggest club in London. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Ask me to bring any trophy, I can put it on the table. Yeah.
Can you bring 13 Premier League trophies and put them all on the table?
13 Prems.
Oh, Arsenal got 13.
I thought you talking about them. We can sing with one it all like you, man. We can sing with one it all.
We have won it all. We have won it all. I agree with you on that.
Clip of Roman Reigns where they basically put the Champions League and the Club World Cup, and it was like a real wrestling promo. And they were like, "Do you have any of these?" And he's like basically pointing at the Champions League. And he's like, hold on. Have you ever competed for one of these? And it's like he's putting on the Club World Cup. That's the best meme I've seen all week.
This here says 2 billion spent and he's still scared, is what Red Army says here.
Hey, man, I've been doing this for a minute now. I get what people do. I get what people do now, bro.
Wayne says, Mutant, have you had a look in the mirror? Next. I don't know what next means. Does that mean something? I don't know. Don Skeeto, lots of words to say nothing. Wayne also says here, Conference League, congrats on winning that.
Hey, bro, you're malnourished right now, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you go gym and that, but broski, you're starving. You ain't tasted the trophy in a minute.
The first Galactico is great on paper, bad on the pitch. Absolutely right. Imagine Small Don calling people deluded about men.
I mean, I've been right about many of my takes. So who's the deluded one now? Guys were telling me we're not going to beat PSG. We've got no chance. Sam was telling me 5% chance, in fact. He told me Caicedo don't get into that midfield. That's what he told me. Guys were telling me, how the fuck can you predict Chelsea to finish top 4? That's what guys were telling me. Yeah. But somehow I've managed to get to 2 finals, in fact, since you last got to one, bro. I've managed to win 3 trophies since you last won one, bro. You know what I mean? You're just there banging drums and not winning nothing and just making noise in the chat. I'll big up for the money anyway, man.
Lukaku had 26 goals at Everton and criticised at United. He did. Again, though, we went for him, but why did that all fall apart? Because there was no plan at the football club. That was a player we did go for that was top, to be fair. That is a great shout. Didn't work out, though. Lukaku 31 GA and Alexis Sanchez 32 GA before United. But this is the thing when you do the English talent thing. The Alexis Sanchez deal is what's the word I'm looking for here? The problem with the Alexis Sanchez deal is he didn't want to join us. He came for money, and he admitted that and wanted to leave after a few days. Now, again, then Mbeumo and Cunha are 1 day into training, 2 days into training, and they go, fuck, we made a mistake, then we're doomed. So that I agree with. How much do you think you should have? How much do I think he should have gone for? Look, I would have. Look, the maximum base fee I would have paid was around 60 million. So we're only talking 5 million over. But I'm nitpicking because my club's broke, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? When you've got less money, I don't know about you boys. You both earn all right. You know, now you might go into a shop. I know tipping's a big thing in America. It's not here in England. You go like, how much I come to? They say like £9.20, £9.30. You give them a tenner. Matt, I now go keep the change, right? I weren't doing that when I was broke, bro. When I had no money, that 30p, I put all them little pennies into a jar, and then once it filled up, I took it to a place and got £200 back. Like the life's different. Right now, we're scrimping, man. I'm a povo. Don, I'd rather have Weghorst than Jackson at United.
Where is Weghorst, by the way? Where is he now?
Fuck knows.
Ajax, I think.
Yeah, he is. Don lies. Are you so far-fetched? His hairline is jealous. Sancho. This is Sancho's girlfriend is a baddie. So 180 bags a week won't cut it. maybe that's part of it. If it's Scruffy. If this Staffy could read, the whole, my brain went, could read the whole thing. Yeah, sorry. The whole thing was asking Terry and co, how do you think United will play next season? Dude just said worst super chat ever read.
And guess what? This is the second worst super chat. Because you can't even spell. There's no punctuation. Terry stuttered about 10 times. Do better.
I am dyslexic. It doesn't help. So yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
he's
No,
typing it.
this ain't even dyslexia, bro.
Oh,
This
really?
is mad thing. This one here is just mad.
Ollie wanted him the season before, Don, but Woodward messed up the deal with Dortmund. He couldn't
remember
come for the money, and we needed him for the right wing to go look at the squad in 2021. You want to join that? We did have a good squad in 2021, and I always felt that we could have gone to that next level. I know a lot of Ronaldo fanboys hate this. I still think signing Ronaldo, he wasn't the problem, but I think it stops us from being able to press as much as we wanted to. I just still think it was an issue. Comedian, that's it. Shane Gillis said, and yes, that shitbag kept the actual trophy. It's true. Yeah, you guys don't have the real Club World Cup. Donald Trump does. That's actually mad.
That's mad, bro. That's designer jewelry as well, man.
I know. Imagine not getting
the
hold of the real
replica
one.
it's not made out of fake gold. It's just the second version of it.
Yeah. This here says Arsenal fans are so happy if they're not in. Fans aren't happy if they're not in meltdown. That's true with some, definitely. Buzz with nonsense again. Oh yeah, the buzz thing. I realize what that means now. That's the mosquito thing, isn't it? Let's see how this Chelsea midfield copes when teams start showing them consistent respect and sitting behind the ball for 30 plus games a season.
This is how I know a lot of people in the chat don't watch Chelsea games, bro. We've had this problem for ages now. This is not a new thing. We face low blocks all the time. You're mute.
I want to listen to this voice now a second. Hang on.
Oh,
who's it from?
Yeah, who's it from?
It's from Roms. I thought it might have been. I know he's watching. I thought it might have been about you. I don't think it is. I was gonna play it. I thought you had some dirt on you, bro. I know he's your boy. I thought it'd be tech fun. Arteta will instruct Eze to play like Trossard. Okay. When anybody says your owners aren't the problem, go look at the who Ollie wanted at DM. The club said we didn't have any money. A certain player came available and mysteriously money then appeared. And that money appeared for Ronaldo because we then that weekend didn't just break the numbers we needed to get all of our money from the shirt sponsors and manufacturers. We broke records, the most amount of football shirts ever sold in a weekend period ever in the history of football. That was definitely a motivator, and it never ever.
By the way, Joshua Jack, he did reject Caicedo for 4 million. He didn't want him, so
was that Ollie that turned him down the board?
That was Ollie.
That was Ollie.
Oh my days, crazy.
You man could have signed him in that January, man.
Terry, I don't mind Don calling out some of our fans. We helped Chelsea with 117 million for Havertz and Noni, and there's a chance Chelsea might use it to get Eze. Maybe. I don't know if they will get Eze because I just think Palmer's got that position on lock. Don, bring a golden prem to the table then. 49 undefeated, my guy. Is what Christopher says here.
Yeah, man, I've got 5 of them. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine
5 undefeated.
No, I'm saying I've got 5 prems. That's all that matters, bro. Gold, it's the same shit. You still leave with 1 prem, don't you? You don't get an extra prem.
How many prems do Arsenal have again? 3?
No,
3.
Arsenal have got 13 league titles.
No.
They've got 3 prems.
3 prems, yeah. How many prems have you won? Actual prems?
5.
You won 5?
5 prems, yeah.
So we got more than both of you combined.
Yeah. But when was the last time you challenged for the league, by the way?
3 years. Only 3 years. 3 years less than you.
Your club's finished.
Only 3 years. Yeah.
Your club are buried.
That was so irrelevant, though. I have nothing to do with it.
Your club are so finished.
I really do the shameless thing. You couldn't let me have that one, huh?
I love this mud that you lot are in, bro. I would never forget primary school and secondary school, bro. I had to go through pain.
Yeah. This guy, all you're seeing here, people, is, you know what I mean? It's someone that's got like daddy issues because we were his daddy through school, didn't like it, and now he's rebelling. You know, he's doing all the mad things that rebelling kids do. Calafiori overlaps. It's called options, is what's been said there.
I don't understand why they get mad at me when I suggest things. I'm just saying, if you want to play that certain way, I think you're going to need to have a fullback that plays higher up the pitch. You saying Calafiori can overlap, that means you're contributing to my point. Why are you so upset that I said that? If he can overlap. That's all. Is Arteta going to do that? I don't know. There's no one who need to be rattled. I'm just talking about football. Why do they get so angry every time I just talk about
so offended, bro? You like, what's going on?
To talk football, bro. I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I'm just doing my best to look at their signings, look at the way they play, and just suggest things. Why are you so upset? It's not that deep. Not every time I speak about
Because
Arsenal.
it's Arteta's way or no way. It's Arteta's way or no way, Staffy. You're not allowed to give your take because you're not a coach.
Look, I want to thank every single person that has tuned into the show today. You're absolute legends. So thank you. Make sure like buttons have been hit before you leave, that you subscribe and get that bell notification hit as well. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Peace.